your Crimson Tide will upset Georgia and shake the whole college playoff football landscape. What say you? Like, do you really think you guys have a serious opportunity, serious chance to upset Georgia? Do you think it will happen when we hear from you?
Man, I'll tell you what, man. It's tough to not call it, but it's tough to call it, man. Because
true.
yeah, man. Because we have seen this story so many times, right?
Yeah.
But I will say this: I feel like it's gonna be an upset, and I feel like it's gonna be an upset because one thing Nick Saban and Kirby Smart has always had a problem with: somebody can run that damn ball at the quarterback position. Imagine the games that Bama lost when Kirby was there. Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, even Dax when he was in Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying he was running the ball all the time, but he could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was mobile. And you think about those type of games, even when Kirby lost against Bama, Tua, Jalen, stuff like that. Like, it's the proof is in the pudding, man. But I feel like now I think those kids got a flow, and I think Jalen Monroe is on a roll, and they letting him be him instead of just sitting in the pocket. And to go back to what you were saying, I can see a little bit of that Jalen Hurts in Shedeur. Especially when he first started, man. That was the problem that we was having with Jalen. Like, man, we was telling him, like, hey, move around a little bit more. Like, I know you want to be a pocket passer, but you can move around too. In the beginning, when he first got to Bama, because he was trying to be defined as a pocket passer. But now I can see a little bit of he's dodging tackles, man. And I can see a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in him, man.
That's what I'm looking for right there.
No, that's a huge that's
wait a minute. It's the greatest arm talent ever.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying you think about how many tackles that Aaron Rodgers was dodging in Green Bay. Like that was Aaron. Like Aaron was moving like that.
He was moving, but we talking about the arm part though.
Ball too long sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't like he ain't got no arm. And man, the kid got an arm, so I mean, he's putting it in the places where nobody else can get it. So them receivers got to catch him.
I like
Shedeur.
I'm just saying Aaron Rodgers is like he might be
high praise, but it's not out of bounds.
Yeah, we talking about young. We talking about like that what he could be. We ain't talking about like just right now, and we talking about comparisons where he's at right now in college.
Jets are going to win the Super Bowl too. What?
Well, look, moving forward, Shedeur has to have a better internal clock, guys. I think at least half the sacks, I was saying to myself, Shedeur, you got to chuck that thing.
Half? Did you watch? Bro, the offensive line was like, it's the worst I've ever seen.
I'm with you, and that's why you have to make an adjustment. It's 1,000, 2,000, and you just can't go pump it. It's too late.
I think the scheme was the problem, not the players. I mean, but the players in the scheme were definitely a problem, if that makes sense. So, all right, well, regardless, the playoff stuff, if Alabama beats Georgia, I don't know how you keep Georgia out being two-time defending champions and only having one loss in 3 years. I don't know how you keep Alabama out, but then Texas beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. If they beat Oklahoma State, how do you keep them out? If Washington beats Oregon and they're undefeated, how do you keep them out? Florida State's going to hammer Louisville. Anybody who takes Louisville in that game, you're fucking up.
Well, I guess I'm fucking up because I got Louisville, Big Mac.
You're fucking up.
I got Louisville, Big Mac.
Okay, well, we need to put something on that. You want to put
on there?
Put a 50 on it. Let's go, dog.
50 on it right now. Shake my hand. 50 on it right now. It's official. I got Louisville.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Chicago back in. It's live. Cut this clip, buddy. Cut this clip.
Like if you've got Alabama, Georgia, Texas, undefeated Washington, undefeated Florida State, undefeated Michigan, how are you making these decisions? The 3 undefeated teams are in, bro. You can't go undefeated in a major conference and not get into the playoff. If that happens, I'm not watching. Like, fuck this. This is ridiculous. But then again, if Alabama beats Georgia, how do you keep both of them out?
Steve, that messes everything. If Bama wins, to me, that messes up everything. Like,
it kind of does. I think
it
Georgia wins the game. Look, Bama, they're the only team in the country that could struggle with Auburn, who's 6-6 and lost to New Mexico State. Every other school gets hammered for it. It's a rivalry.
Well, it is a rivalry, though.
Okay,
bro.
but there's still a terrible Auburn team. The other thing is
up and to the right, which means
this is what I hate about the SEC fans, and I love the
SEC.
The SEC fans kill me. It's always about, well, that game doesn't count because Alabama lost to Texas at home. Like, I literally had someone on Texas say, on Twitter say last week after the game, yeah, but, we've gotten better. Doesn't matter. Texas beat Alabama pretty handily at Tuscaloosa. Like, the SEC fans try to have it both ways. We won head-to-head, except when you don't win head-to-head. Well, now we went through the SEC. You people are maniacs. And this is where the SEC is a little bit overrated. Not everyone plays each other during the conference season. Okay? So all you guys can bitch and moan at me. It's okay because I'm just going to mute you on Twitter and you're still going to follow me. So listen to me. The games actually matter. The results matter. And the reality is, I don't care if it's a rivalry game. Auburn was a terrible team. They were a terrible Auburn team.
That is true, Steve. I think T. Rich has a rebuttal. T. Rich, what do you have to say to what Steve just said about your Bama Crimson Tide in the SEC?
It's just a rivalry, I guess.
Well, listen, man, that's just like I would never bet on Michigan and Ohio State game. I would never bet on Texas and Oklahoma game. I would never bet on Alabama and Auburn. I don't give a damn how good they is. Man, listen, we was beating everybody ass my freshman year. And we got down that motherfucker to Auburn, excuse my language, and we got 14-0.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that just, and we went undefeated that year. The first time in the SEC, somebody went undefeated. So it's like, I can't say that. I get what you're saying because you're on the outside looking in. I get it. But you name one of those teams that's undefeated right now, other than Georgia, we can sit there and say that's just better than Alabama. Like, just be real. For the last 2 years.
I already know one team with one loss. Texas is better than Alabama.
They won a game. I said undefeated, but they won a game. I get it. But you're talking about the first game of the season. When you get better from the first game to your second game of the season.
Second, but
you're right.
Again,
you're right.
There you go again. But what's wrong with the season? Well, I mean, look, all I know is this: the SEC. I believe they're the best conference in football. They have been but they don't really schedule a lot of out-of-conference games that mean anything. There's a reason because they got exposed this year.
Alabama.
They do neutral site games. They don't go home and home. That's been a real.
We played last year in Texas. This year, like what are you talking about?
The SEC does not play a lot of games out of their time zone. Now, Alabama schedules a lot of neutral site games. I give them that. Just look at the record. Florida had not played in a non-conference game out of state in like 35, 40 years till Utah, who then, by the way, beat them with like their backup quarterback, Bryson Barnes.
Florida. Did you say Florida, man?
They're an SEC team, right?
Man, Florida ain't been good since Tim Tebow left, man. We all know that.
That is true.
That is true, but I'm just saying.
Since Urban went and shook that thing up, it ain't been the same since then. You know that.
I know, but here's the thing. There comes a point in time where the games have to matter. And I think the Texas team had one breakdown against Oklahoma. They struggled against another team. But when they are healthy, I think they're physically as good as any team. They may be left out because of that one loss. That's the truth. And I have people say, who'd you take, Texas or Alabama? Now, that's a tough one. If Bama beats Georgia, they're in. And if Texas gets left out, they're going to be some pissed off Texans.
All right,
I got an upset alert this week with Oklahoma State.
Well,
go ahead, Matt.
It's like Texas lost at Kansas. Alabama lost to Texas. Like that, the Kansas loss that Texas took, that's the means. Didn't they?
No, Texas lost to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, that's right. Now, Oklahoma.
Again, that's a rivalry game. Also, now it doesn't matter. See what I'm talking about, guys?
I was mistaken. Fuck
no, I'm not talking about you, man. I'm saying
Oklahoma lost to Kansas.
No. I'm saying if you're going to say Texas lost, you don't get the asterisk and read the fine print. It's a rivalry game. Never mind. It's only half the loss.
But they didn't lose.
See what I mean? See what I mean? The whole perception of how we use that conveniently. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but Alabama didn't lose, Kim.
No, but they played let me ask you this: who's a better team? You think, honestly, Auburn or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma, probably.
Probably, I think by a lot.
I think if Auburn and Oklahoma played, Auburn would play them fucking super tough.
Yeah.
As tough as they did New
definitely.
Mexico State. Okay,
Yeah,
so I disagree.
I can't accommodate for kids who don't understand that New Mexico State isn't a bunch of scrubs and Jerry Kill's a bad motherfucker. They underestimated a really good team that won 10 games.
I'm just saying, if we're going to start putting asterisks by the result of rival, and I get it, it's a rivalry game. I think Bama, they have a shot, but I think Georgia's really solid. I really do. And Carson Beck is probably the most underrated, overlooked quarterback in college football. He's been so efficient. And Kirby Smart, if he wins this year and goes undefeated, I think he should retire. It'll never get better than this to go.
Go for 4.
Yeah, maybe. But look, here's where I think Alabama has an issue. Offensively, they're kind of inconsistent. And the year that Alabama smoked Georgia, which was 2 years ago, they had an issue because they could not cover Jamison Williams and John Little Mechie. I don't think they have those type of threats outside this year consistently. So
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
So, okay. I played on a team in 2001 that in my opinion, got totally screwed out of playing Miami for the national title. We beat Nebraska by 30. We avenged our only Big 12 loss in Texas. And because Nebraska played on 9/11, they played Troy State. We canceled our game at Washington State in Pullman. They had one more victory, and we had lost our opener, and then we ran through the Big 12 and beat Texas. We were 10-2. And when they put the board up and we were third behind Nebraska, it didn't matter if we were going to the Fiesta Bowl anymore. It was like, well, fuck this. The system is rigged, dog. We can't even win games and go play for the title. Now, I think that Miami would have fucking shit stomped us because that's the best college football team I've ever seen. But you want the opportunity to play. And that's my concern here is I've got guys all over the college football playoff. Like selfishly, I just want it to go easy. Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State. Because I got guys at Florida State, I got guys at Washington, I got guys at Michigan. And I want to watch my guys play. So from a selfish standpoint, I want to watch my guys play. But at the same time, I think that chaos is needed in order to, expose the hypocrisy of this whole thing. And like if Alabama wins, if Oregon wins, if Florida State wins, Michigan wins, Texas wins, like that, this is. It's going, what is it going to be like payoff city? How are they going to make these decisions? Like there's 13 ADs. You can't tell me that there isn't an agenda in the room. Like are they going to start like teaming up conference by conference to vote? I thought it was supposed to be individually. So like I think this is even more corrupt than a fucking computer. The computer doesn't have a bias. It's just going by numbers. And the numbers can be fucking skewed, but I don't think there's bias. It's just a bad system. This is 13 dudes or whoever they are, 13 ADs that are determining who gets to go play for a natty when you've got 7 or 8 teams that should be playing for it. I mean, that's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because you got to be able to put those teams and get those teams an opportunity. But at the same time, like we got to come to be real. Like anytime Bama has not been in that playoff system, it's been a blowout. It's since last year. Only time last year, like we got a real good playoffs was last year. That was the only time we got a real good playoffs.
But even TCU got embarrassed in the
and that's what I'm saying. Like it's stuff like that, bro. Like,
and that's what I'm concerned about T. Rich this year. Like if Florida State wins, they deserve to be in. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
But let's be real though. Like let's remove. Like let's be honest. Without their quarterback, do we really think Florida State's a top 4 team? though? I don't.
No,
without the quarterback,
they're not.
Without their quarterback, they're not.
Not earning it though, right?
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, the games have to matter. But I Florida State, they better not just beat Louisville. They need to really be conclusive. They need to dominate Louisville. It still may not be enough. But again, this is a team in FSU. I'll be consistent. The games have to matter. And they beat some pretty good teams this year. I actually thought Florida State, right off the top, they beat LSU. That's a good, solid win.
That's good. They might be the Heisman winner, honestly.
Right. That'd be my Heisman winner. They beat Clemson at Death Valley. That is still tough to do. Not a lot of teams do that. The Miami one, unfortunately, Mario Cristobal devalued that with his own coaching. Yeah. They beat Florida, but with the backup, they scuffled, but they beat them at the Swamp. But Florida, they're not exactly what they were. But that's going to be what's going to happen this year is going to be an argument for the 12-team playoff.
So, okay. Really? This is
but I still never got my question answered. Like, do you think any of those teams outside of, we can say Georgia, do they look like they're better than Alabama?
I think
Texas does. That's one.
I think Michigan's better than Alabama.
Yeah, Georgia and Michigan.
I think Michigan is really, really fucking.
Michigan's legit. T-Rich.
I get it. But
you know what's funny? Michigan. I disagree with you. Michigan has no threats outside, guys.
I don't see Michigan being. They ain't got no threats.
But they got a better running back in my opinion. They got a better O line. I think.
O line is fucking nasty.
JJ McCarthy's quarterbacks, whatever.
Roman Wilson on a lot of other teams. Roman Wilson's a good little player. He'd be a second or third receiver. At Michigan, he's number one. They don't really have that guy up top. That they're fairly easy to defend schematically. Now they're very good inside, and JJ McCarthy with his legs, but. So to answer T. Rich's question, so we have Georgia, I would put over Bama. In terms of physical, the talent they have, I think Texas. These guys say Michigan. I'll give Michigan credit. They've steamrolled just about everybody, and they beat a really good Ohio State team. Florida State without Jordan Travis, I can't put them in there.
Well, they're going to get in if they win, and Louisville's. I mean, I know Louisville's after a loss, but I think Florida State's just better.
I don't see them being
without Jordan Travis, though, Matt. That's what we're going with.
Well, yeah, I understand, but you can't if they're undefeated and they get left out. If an undefeated Florida State and a 13-win Texas team with one loss and one in Alabama doesn't get in, everyone should strike. This is college football players. Let me talk to you right now. As I'm not kidding at all. I think it's fucking ridiculous that people laugh at it. You understand how much every college football player right now, you understand how much power you have for a corrupt playoff system that are going to pick the guys rather than fucking play for it. That's number one. All the TV revenue money that you're not getting anything from, all the NIL money that the motherfucking fans and business people have to contribute to funds rather than monetizing everything that you're making off tickets and sales and jerseys and all that bullshit. So that's the other scam. Can you imagine if all 6 or 8 of these top teams just said, you know what? Fuck your championship Saturday, dog. We're not playing. And we want a cut of the goddamn revenue. We want a cut of everything. And we're unionizing. We're unionizing behind fucking Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. Who gives a fuck? One of the quarterbacks just stand up and go, no, lock arms and don't play. Oregon and Washington, you hate each other, lock arms, don't play. Alabama and Georgia hate each other, lock arms at the 50 and sit down. Everybody yell all you want. I don't give a fuck. You want me to play? Pay me. It's just like Goodfellas. Oh, your house burned down? Fuck you. Pay me. Oh, your dog died? Fuck you. Pay me. Oh, you're a little late on the rent this month? Fuck you. Pay me.
Pay me.
The college football players have so much power that they do not use ever. There's no agents. There's no union. There's no health care. You're getting fucking jobbed, and you think that NIL is like this savior. The transfer portal is where you go to get played. The NFL is where you go to get fucking paid. Stop acting like this shit is fucking just elementary. You don't go to college so they can get paid anymore. Stop fucking playing this stupid game. But it'll never happen because there's no community in college football. Everybody's a merc. At least we have a union in the NFL, even though it's dog shit and DeMaurice Smith is a puppet. I can still call them and bitch and try and get my benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like college football it's in trouble right now, dog. I understand it's popular, but you know what? Fucking New Kids on the Block was popular too. I'm just saying, like shit.
Vanilla Ice.